Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And welcome to today's episode. Today's episode is again just me. And I want to call today's episode Small Changes That Make your restaurant or your operation stand out. And for me, this is one of the things for me which is really um, a key differentiator from a place you frequent just to get a meal or from a place where you go to have an experience. So for me, I broke it down into four simple sections. And when you follow these, I know you will have a huge impact in your facility. So if you chef owner, GM, or an operator looking to upscale your experience and to grow your brand, this episode gives you the tactical steps to be successful. So with that, let's get right into it. And before we start, thanks for following us. Thanks for leaving a like on this episode. Also share it with somebody you feel can benefit from hearing today's message. So for me, the first one is one of the biggest ones is small changes that make an impact or a big impact. And you hear me talk about this all the time. Um, Drain like you mean it. And for me, that's it's one of the really simple things we need to do more of because today there is restaurant spending a lot more on Instagram than on training the staff. And you need to understand that in your facility, your staff is your best advertising for your facility. So you can do this in a very simple 10-minute pre-shift huddle. And for me, there's three things you need to cover all the time. You need to tell them some storytelling. What is some of the things you need to upsell? And how do you celebrate small wins? So for me, it's as simple as that, because as you help your staff embody your brand, it's not just serving food. So for me, the first and the simplest thing is doing that. Do a 10-minute pre-meal huddle, whatever you want to call it, pre-meal meal, and just focus on, hey, the things what we're doing really well, storytelling. What do we need to upsell, and how do we celebrate small wins? The second point for me that is really simple: simplify, then specialize on the menu. So because clarity builds craveability, reducing the menu clutter, and just highlight some really amazing dishes has all the impact you need. So why do you think this matters? I honestly believe a tight menu, more intentional menu driven items help you make decisions faster. And not only that, it gives you a stronger identity of who you are. I think the days of having this giant menu, which has 50, 60 menu items on it, those days are over. And then for me, the final thing around that is, and this is on point one, small changes with big impact, is at an unexpected moment. Surprise really creates the stickiness. And that for me is a big one, because for me, you can try something really simple, a complimentary amuse bouche or a small bite you serve on a daily basis, a handwritten thank you note with your check, or remember that returning guest's favorite drink. And I always use the story as I grew up in my parents' hotel. Um, there was this front guy, front desk manager. His name was Manfred, and there was one thing he did really, really well. Every time he checked in, he had this conversation, and the first thing he did after the conversation, write the stuff on a note. And then the next time they came, he asked for the dog. How did their daughter do? How did something else happen? And how was the impact for them? And it's amazing on how people responded to that, because they felt like for him, that wasn't just a job. It was more than that. For him, it was a career. And they felt heard, and they felt like they were at the right venue to start with. So for me, the recap, the first point is where we talked about small changes that which have a big impact. And there's three for me. Like or drain like your market depends on it. Really spend time on your staff to train them properly. Specialize on the menu. The days of a big menu are gone. You could have less items on it and just rotate them more frequently. And then for me, the final point around that is to add something unexpected. So, because for me, those are the simplest things. And if you want to add one more, is maybe leverage social media around your team. And that's something we don't talk about it often enough is your team are your influencers. You don't need to go out and hire an influencer. All you need to do is in your team to get the proper buy-in. And you do this by three simple steps. You encourage your staff to be part of the content engine. So you tell them, hey, you are your content, or this is the content engine of this facility. You can show behind the scenes clips or behind the scenes moments which have a massive impact. Let your people tell the story, and then have real energy. I believe when you watch a social media post or anything else, if you have real faces, real connection, and you have real engagement, that's for me a winning formula for you to win the day. So if you want to add a fourth point, you don't need influencers. You really need your staff's buy-in. Encourage staff to be their own constant content engine. Stay and show behind the scenes glimpses. And you people tell a story, because real energy, real faces, and real connection is what wins today's social media. And it's as simple as that. So hopefully any of these small tips and tricks we share with you every Friday have an impact for you to create, not just create a new venue and a new format for yourself, is how to create the future for you and the facilities you run. So I want you to encourage you to start with one, test it, tweak it, and let's keep growing from there. So again, the quick recap, there's four if you want to have at that point. The first one was train your staff. And the better your staff is aware of what you do and what are some of the small ins and out of your facility, makes all the impact. Then the same second point for us was the large menus. The large menus go away because clarity builds craveability. So I honestly believe that. And for me, when I go to a facility and I see this giant menu, it just turns me off. And so, because for me, I know this, it's impossible for them to keep all of their stuff fresh. So a small menu, change them often. Then deliver those unexpected moments. And that could be as simple as we talked about, have a small amuse bouche or a bite to be given before you start, a handwritten note with your check, or remember your returning guests' favorite drinks. It's as simple as that. And if you want to overlay one thing, and maybe that's something you should start out with, is leverage social media with your team. Have not influencers promote you, have your staff's buy-in. And there is a great restaurant out there, which is growing really, really fast. And it's one of Troy Hooper, one of my friends' restaurant. If you look at that, he does all of his marketing and all of his advertising with his staff, because I honestly believe that encouraging staff to be part of the content engine makes all the impact. Having those behind the scenes glimpses, those behind the scenes moments, which tell the real story, and then have real energy, real faces, and real connection, because that honestly is what makes social media win the day. So with that, I hope the day was impactful. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of that. Once again, my name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. If you feel like there was a lot of value for you in there, make sure you highlight it or you save it. Also, share it with a chef or operator you feel can benefit from today's message. And for me, it's we doing this together. Because if you have something worked from you, hey, just share with us below, share you win. DM me with any new things, and we would love to feature you on our next podcast because I honestly believe you don't need to rebrand. You need a reminder that little things what makes a brand great. And for me, it's as simple with that. With that, I want to say thanks for being here today. Thanks for listening in. And also, as always, if you haven't done so, make sure you share this episode with a friend. Make sure you share this with anybody from your facility. And thanks for listening in. I'm Christian. I'm your host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And in those 4 points, you will have a total different facility a few weeks from now. Thanks, everybody. And I see you on next Friday's episode. Thanks for being here today.